My friends have met the love of their lives. I have watched them catch amnesia, forgetting what it's like, constantly rearranging the locks from all of the breaks and all of the break-ins. I didn't want to offer you a fairy tale, so I penned this poem for you. Outside of love, it's going to hurt, but we are designed to heal. A lot of my friends are married, and sometimes there is amnesia, quote unquote, forgetting what it's like to go through certain things as far as dating, as far as, just the life of a person who is not in covenant. And I penned this poem for you. Outside of love is me talking to my future daughter in the sense of saying, like, I'm writing this poem out of a place that I know that you're going to be in. So it's just to say, like, no, I get it. Yeah, no rose colored glasses, just thorns. It's going to hurt. And because when you go through different things like this, like, no, at the end of the day, sometimes it just sucks. And it just sucks. Until that man has made his intentions with you verbally clear, treat him like a homie because he's nothing but a friend. It's easier said than done a lot of the times. But I think I think the best way to guard your heart is to seek clarity. You don't get to treat me one way, but not verbalize and say it what it is, which is tied to when he says he's not into labels. Go ahead and call his bluff. Tell his coach that he's not really in it to win it, because champion is a label. Just like fool, just like naive, just like stupid. And I won't be raising man one of them. Tell him to put a label on it so he can keep it. And a lot of these things are just real life experiences of things that I've heard, of things that I have gone through. I'm not really into labels. And it's just like, well, if you're not into labels, then all of this ambiguity, all of this uncertainty, this whole little situationship, you could go ahead and have that. You can keep it. Until you're able to put a label on it and call it what it is, it's yours. Go ahead and keep it. When he says he isn't ready, ask him how much time did he spend knee bent before the Father before getting lost at your doorstep. And it's just, if you're not ready, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Like, stay over there and get ready. And once you're ready, then you can. But until then, stay over there and get ready. There are plenty of fish in the sea, but darling, you are worth drowning for. And I think that imagery is very valid, that there are plenty of fish in the sea. But I think that what insecurity does is it flips it and says, oh, there's plenty of other choices that he has. So why, why would I do things to cause him to go fishing? And so the fact that you are worth drowning for says that in all of who you are, and all of the mess, and all of the monsters that you may have, all of what comes with you and who you are, even then, you're worth someone going through the risk of going through the mess to love you, to be with you. What type of woman would I be to raise a daughter whose soul bears the same scars as mine? That line pretty much is the premise of this poem. It is the heart of this poem, is what type of woman would I be to let my physical daughter, women I mentor, or just people who I reach and have an influence with, what type of person would I be to just sit back and let them go through the same things that I've gone through without attempting to kind of say, hey, value yourself. I know it's hard, and I know that sometimes valuing yourself is going to make you feel like you're not worthy. It's going to make you feel like you're not deserving. It's going to make you feel like you should be alone and you should struggle. But that's not the case. Side note, loneliness is not a relationship status. It's a mentality. Your lips are not a therapist's couch for him to work out his mama issues. Your relationship is not the lost and found for him to find his intentions with you. Sweetheart, your worth is non-negotiable. Shameless plug. Cop the hoodie. Now this concept of the woman being the place for a man to come to find healing, that whole concept. Feeling some sort of responsibility and obligation to the healing of this person, and feeling like if we were to walk away or if we were to leave, that would be unfair to them. Completely disregarding our own value, our own healing, our own needs. And I know it takes two to break a heart. It's probably not all of his faults. Miss me with that. Women do it too. You can write that poem. I know that women do it too, but I feel like when people kind of dismiss the poem and say like, oh, well, men go through this too, or it kind of becomes this all lives matter retaliation response, instead of just saying, hey, but right now I'm talking to this specific group and I'm talking about this. Let's give it the attention that it requires. And then when you write the other poem, we can then give that the space and attention that it requires. You are not the source of anyone's happiness. If God cannot fill that void, sweetheart, walk. Baby, run. You cannot make anyone happy. It is not your responsibility to make anyone happy. It is not anyone else's responsibility to make you happy. It's not their job. If anyone is going to be the source of everything that you require and that you need, that should be God, because you're not the property to anyone. You already belong to the Most High. So his mother better have taught him that you return something back to the sender better than how he found it. I didn't pass up on my goal of having children just for the fun of it. I freestyled 90% of my life, and darling, you had to be marvelous, and any brother just wouldn't do. So being anyone who is not married in the church and your family beckons questions. For some reason, it welcomes boundaries crossed. People who, yeah. So I didn't pass up my goal on having children just for the fun of it. Freestyle 95% of my life, but you had to be marvelous, and any brother just wouldn't do. Which kind of goes back to the line where I say a man's affections is not a down payment for your loyalty. Sometimes we pressure people into being in relationships and giving people a chance just because they're a good person, or just because they're able to check all the boxes on what a good godly husband should be. But it's like, yo, he's a good dude, but that doesn't mean that I'm obligated to open myself up to him. And I never wanted this poem to come across as too harsh on the man, especially like that. That wasn't my desire. It's more so a desire, like just kind of the basic understanding, like you are valuable. You're valuable. And there's nothing that you can say or do to strip away the value that you have. Like, you're going to make dumb choices. I probably, unfortunately, may mess up and do some of the things in my poem that I'm urging my daughter not to do. You know, like, those things may happen because emotions are tricky, they're cloudy, and learning my value and living in a way that accurately and consistently reflects that value is a journey that I'm still on. It's definitely a journey that I am still on, and I never intended for this poem to paint this picture that I've got it all figured out and I know exactly what I'm doing and what I want and how to get it. Like, nah. I have to read this poem to myself quite often and remind myself, like, Jasmine, your worth is not negotiable. You're worth drowning for. Your lips are not a therapist's couch for him to work out his mama issues. You can't make anyone happy. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. This poem is just a snippet of things that I would hope to teach my future daughter, Lord willing. Yeah, this is just a very small part of things that I would love to kind of instill in her and teach her about herself and for others. So yeah, that little poem is like just one chapter of the novel that she will get from me, Lord willing. He gifts me with that blessing. So that's the breakdown.